quite a melodramatic day today. Basically, okay, so my family is here from the States. It's my dad, my stepmom, and my grandparents are here. And I've been in kind of like a doom and gloom mood. So I woke up today and I've just been in this mood of like, I just don't care at this point. Like, you know what? I give up. Just like in the last meeting, I was like, I just give up at this point. But basically, it was like today was like an opera, there was like acts to it. It was like a very dramatic day. So basically I woke up, my family got there, I got ready for the day. I was in this really kind of like depressed mood, like, okay, I've just led myself down this wrong path. And so I got dressed and everything, um, got to class. I went to my biological psychology class, missed my stats seminar again because I was like, there's just not even a point. I basically have to teach myself all of R over this break because I just had so many technical issues that I was like, I don't have the homework. So I'm not going to show up after a full semester on the last class and I still don't have the homework because I need to literally teach myself to get to the point where I'm at this week's homework. Yeah, so anyways, basically, so I went to class. I have 3 minutes before somebody's holiday party. I went to class and I was just in my biological psychology class, which is basically neuroscience, and we were learning about the frontal lobe. And I was like, I just love this so much. I was really like all hyped up about it and stuff. And I mean, hyped up but sad because I was like, I don't know. I've just been really in a mood of just self-doubt recently, and basically, let's find a new spot. Man, I guess I wasn't meant to be in good lighting. This is actually funny because this is the first room that I actually had one of my very first research assistant meetings at when I first moved here, and I was just a research assistant. But anyways, yeah, so I was saying that today was kind of an opera. But anyway, so I was in my neuroscience class, and I was just like, man, we were learning about the frontal lobe. It's our last day of the semester, and yeah, so I was just listening. I wasn't even taking notes, anything. I was just listening and enjoying the lecture. And I was like, I just love this so much. And then I left and I was in the most horrible mood. I've just been in this insane mood that it fluctuates from like, oh, okay, this is great that I'm in this to like, oh, this is not fun. Where sometimes it's like in the last video where I'm kind of like this little dog meme. But then when I left and I was just walking out, I was like, oh, I feel like I was like, oh, I don't know. I was just I was like, my life is doom and gloom, and I'm just here on earth to suffer, and like life is just bad, and like nothing will ever get good for me because like that's just not what I'm on earth for, I suppose. I wasn't like, I don't know, but I was like accepting it. I was like, that's okay. Anyways, but then I went into this Joe and the Juice. This was like my most dramatic day. I went to this Joe and the Juice bathroom, and all of a sudden I just start crying, and I was just like, God, why do you do this to me? I was like, I just love this so much. I just want to really do it. And I've just been feeling like behind and just bad and all this stuff. And but then it's like act two. I left. I left the toilet. I left the bathroom, and I basically start to think about it again. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I just wouldn't be happy if I wasn't doing this. Like, I love this. I'm actually grateful because it's been hard to feel a little bit out of whack with this moment in my life and feel out of whack with like my program and stuff. Because I was actually the reason I was in that mood in the first place is I was in class and I've been missing like more class than I would ever want to. Even though I was really looking forward to my program by like a lot, but I just got so immersed in this and like all this stuff, and I've been really like burnt out and stuff. And I was just looking around at everybody just taking notes peacefully, and I was like, why is my life never that? Because I just was feeling a lot of grief because I was like, I did my undergrad and then immediately had like a negative situation, so I never got to just immerse myself in my classes. Like I was always struggling with my mental health and all this stuff, and then I got here, and it's been for a good reason. Like I'm really happy because I'm working on this, but I was like, man, why can't I just make myself just show up normally? Like why can't I just be like, I'm here and I'm happy and there's no other stressor on my mind. There's nothing throwing me off. Like I'm just enjoying myself. And I was just seeing everybody like kind of like people really like grouping up in the program, and they know each other and they're friends. Not everybody, but there's like people that know each other and stuff. And I was just like, I've just been missing out on this, and like just also feeling like that's just what you're meant to be doing in your 20s. I've been doing something so random. That's why I was in that doom and gloom feeling. But then I left and I was like, you know what?
not in a million years would I have known how much I would love this. Genuinely. When I went into college, I wanted to do journalism. So you can see how very far away I got from that. And I honestly, like, I like writing, but I don't think that I would want to be a journalist in hindsight. And I actually did do a little bit of student journalism, and I was like, this isn't like, I don't feel like a fire in my stomach for this. I just feel like, okay, I know I'm good at writing, so that's like a good path for me. I never would have assumed in a million years that I would be really good at this, that I would want this. So I was like, it was actually a gift. I was like, if anything, I'm grateful because like now I can't even imagine my life without this. And um, if this is how it came into my life, so be it. But now I know, and like now I have a passion and all this stuff. And so my mood turned around, and I just started to think like, what do I need to do to get to this last piece? And I was like, I need to start valuing myself. I need to start valuing my voice and start valuing like the contribution, because I think I've been looking at it like uh in this lack energy of like, oh, people like there's why would people why would people listen to me, or like I hope someone works with me because this is like, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I'm like, I need to say like, no, this is good. And someone should be happy to work with me, not actually in an egotistical way, but more like I have something to offer, and like this is a good thing, and this isn't like, this is like a good thing in general, and I shouldn't be like in that energy of like always wondering. That's why I was like, I need to have more self-worth. I was like, I'm always wondering if people actually like, if I'm bringing something good to the table and all this stuff. So that's why I just got in that mood. And then I was in my last class of the day, and I went to my Christmas party. Everyone keeps thinking I'm like a new student or something because they never see me because I'm not. But anyways, yeah. So I went to my Christmas party, and it was good. It was good to finally get to socialize with people. Though my family's here, so I was kind of like, I want to go see them. But I did like socialize with people, and then it's funny. This was like the climax. This is like Act 3. I left. Uh, I left the Christmas party, and I it was in a Birkbeck building, if you know UCL, which isn't like a UCL building. So I left, and I was like, where am I? Like I was kind of discombobulated, and I started trying to get. I was like, I vaguely know where I am, so I start to navigate myself, but I was like, I don't really feel like I was like, what is this? Like I kind of started walking the opposite direction, and then all of a sudden, like I turned some random corner, and okay, this is the thing that's interesting, is that there's a lot of different people studying like hippocampal replay, but they come at it from different angles, which is so interesting. So there's some people that are more the navigation side of things. That was actually the first supervisor that I reached out to, was doing more like navigation, like play cells and stuff and grid cells. And I don't know if he does grid cells, but that's what the navigation kind of end is, of like actually like how do humans learn how to navigate the world, and like stuff like that. And then there's more of like an episodic memory kind of element to it, and that's people I don't know actually, like what do that I don't know, I guess they're looking at replay and stuff like that. There's just different sort of modes of thinking about sharp wave ripples. And I think that I've actually been learning that as I've been reaching out to supervisors and seeing like who's a little bit more interested in working with me, or what element of my work do people actually feel like, kind of like I actually have been reaching out to people recently, and it's been like an interesting journey where I went to one professor, he gave me to another professor, and then that professor said, here I could do it, but I feel like you'll get, because he wasn't a computational neuroscience person at all. So he was like, look at these, or he's like a bit but not like an expert. So he's like, I could if you need to, but here's two people that I think you would work well with that are computational neuroscience like experts essentially. And so I reached out to one of them, and he basically said to me like, I like, this looks really interesting. I'm just worried because I don't know that much about stress, and I'm busy. Like like he was kind of like just wondering about the logistics of being my supervisor and stuff, but he was interested in meeting with me still. He's like, you want to have a meeting this coming Monday? We haven't solidified, so hopefully that pans out, because I would love to meet and like actually figure this out and stuff. And basically, yeah. So he did like he said that. And then I was like, I've been waiting to get a response. And in the meantime, I was just going one at a time, but I was like, I am kind of like, it's like a time crunch now, because I need to actually say like, I have like a supervisor, because if not, I need to find another person. So yeah, so this is anyways, so then I went to see the other person who I was recommended, like his page, and the the first guy is more into doing computational modeling of like the entorhinal cortex, and like he had one of those like entorhinal cortex and the hippocampus. He had a lot on STDP rules and stuff, and like just more logistical elements, I think, of this whole thing. There's a lot of different like angles to this entire like circuit and like everything, right? So he was doing more of that stuff in the hippocampus. Then there was another one, like the other professor, he had done stuff on PTSD. Not actually like extensively, but I saw that he had done a paper in the last 5 years on PTSD, and he was more episodic memory was his thing, episodic memory and the rat brain, and I was like, can we put these two together? So I had already sent something to that first researcher. I don't know if this is gonna pan out. I'm just giving because this is gonna be context, I guess. For I forgot what I was saying, but we'll get to it. But I was like, I had already sent an email back saying like, yeah, I'd love to meet and all this stuff online, and like I'll give you more information. What time would you like to meet? But this was like maybe was this 2 days ago? No, this was yesterday that I think I sent this email. I sent another email that I think I forwarded it, which was my intention, but I might have accidentally just replied. So if that's the case, I still have to send him everything. But basically, I emailed the other professor everything that I had said in theory and CC'd the first professor that I had already reached out to. And I was like, I saw that actually it turns out that they know each other. So hopefully they are like interested. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea how that's gonna go at all, if it is gonna pan out like that. But I was like, hi, like I had already reached out to this person. He's a bit more worried about this, but I was wondering because I saw that you have some experience with this, maybe you would be willing to come on as a second supervisor. Because I'd already mentioned there's nobody who's gonna be like a stress and sharp wave ripple expert because that's so niche. Like that's gonna be my niche. I'll get in that niche. I'll make the niche so that if you want to work with me. Just kidding. One day when I'm a researcher, I'm your girl. But there's not. I didn't think that exists yet. So I was just like, okay, there's just not a possible way unless I get two supervisors anyways. So yeah. So I basically then reached out. Yeah, so I'm just waiting to hear back. But so anyways, the whole point is there's all these different directions that you can actually take this one theme down, if that makes sense. And I think it's been really interesting to learn like what are the limitations of each person's research and what are the limitations of like this area. That all being said, I walked out of Birkbeck and I was walking around, and all of a sudden like I got lost and I started to walk around, and I was like, oh, like the navigation element hit me where I think I've just been like, that's not really like my thing that much, but I understood why it was navigation because it was like place cells and stuff. But then it started to hit me like how I just started to put all the concepts together. I was like, oh, I need to learn how to navigate this space. That's why I'm lost. I need to like duh, but it's like I need to get all this information in my head and have an intuitive sense of like how I'm walking through this space. And I was like, I am the rat right now. I was like, I started to get in that rat brain space where I was like, this is the rat. Like, well, obviously humans are doing it too. It's not just a rat, but it was like I was in the headspace of my imaginary rat. I was just walking around the campus and being like, okay, so I'm navigating the space. And then I was like, okay. And then there's a synaptic tagging element. I was like, how would that operate? And I was basically just visualizing this whole thing. Humans do all this too. I don't know why I said I am the rat. I am the human because humans literally experience this, which is why I'm doing this. But anyways, I was just navigating the space and just like kind of visualizing it all. And then I started to get inspired of like, what do I need to actually cut out? That's the cool thing about neuroscience. It's kind of like a hack. Like there's this like video. I'm gonna see if I can put it up here. Wait, let me try to find it. Let me make sure this video is also saving. I'm gonna put the meme here. I'm gonna like be quiet for 2 seconds so you can watch it.
So how do you feel?
Okay. Anyways, the fun cheat and the fun hack about neuroscience is that I literally have a brain. Everybody on Earth has a brain, and I just have to like be like, okay, what is my life like? And then you just think about it, and then like it's like, oh, that's the hack. That's the neuroscience hack that I learned. So, anyways, I was like, oh, it's crazy. Basically, I feel like neuroscience is cheating because like you literally have all the answers. Like they're already up here. It's like just unless you like, well, actually, I feel like that's my niche. That's my hack. Because if you're doing like seizures, you don't have seizures. It's like, well, no cheating there. But anyways, but I was just like, it was just all coming together, and I was just getting inspired of like what I just like. I was cutting down my model as I was walking, and I was like, I don't need a lot of this. I'm gonna like the memory binding is gonna get chucked. No more of that. It would have been good, and it's like the reason I had it is because I wanted to see how those traces would work. I think it's just gonna get chucked. I think I'm just gonna have amygdala, and then the researchers that I'm still waiting on their model, but they should in theory be sending it to me. It's like the re- hippocampal replay, like the unified model of learning and memory and all that. That I already reached out to those researchers. They have like everything in place. If I can just get that, and then the synaptic tagging from the amygdala, those are the two things that everything else is really not as important and much more complex and like maybe for a later time, because it's also complicated like as a rat brain situation. And then I think it's easier to convince because one of the researchers didn't really like know the amygdala that well, and the other one, I don't know if he will, to be fair. um so it's good. And the other thing is that I basically yesterday, okay, basically, okay, really quick. So basically, yeah. So I went yesterday and I found a bunch of models of I found like um computational model papers of the amygdala, and I found open source papers of the amygdala, and I saved them all into a folder. And hopefully when we meet, if they let me, if they want to meet with me, if everything, I'm just gonna give them all of that information, show it to them, and then be like, you don't really have to do anything at all. I already have everything. I just need to put it all together, and I can help putting it all together. And that can be the answer to my issues because nobody's going to know how to do everything. But the more information I have, the better off that I am, essentially, because the air don't have to do, I just need to be like, you literally don't have to do like anything. That's the goal. You just need to support and then tell me who I can pay to do this for me. And then I can give that person all of the work that already exists. And like, you don't have to do that much. Just this is it. This is literally everything. And that's how we're going to get this paper done. Essentially, I think. Wait, first, let's send the mental picture. Let's send the mental picture back. This is for myself who just got into this room for the very first time and was like, am I gonna suck at psychology, and like, why am I in London? And also I look crusty and I look like a mess and I look weird and I feel awkward. Here. Okay. Anyways, and what I did today was I moved everything from all the papers that you've already seen. I'll show you really quick. Oh my gosh, it's the last thing you're gonna see. I moved everything around basically into my final draft paper because we're gonna start writing my final draft. We're just gonna preemptively start writing it, and it's all in there. I just need to edit it. Okay, the title is still not there. Okay, 2 minutes. Abstract. It's not. It's still for my old proposal, and it's not good, but it's there. I have an abstract. Introduction. This is everything. I just need to edit it, make it good, make sure everything's in it, make sure it's not just like random chunks of text from other papers, whatever. We have everything here from the literature review, ACH, everything, all the explanations. I just need to pare them down. Now I don't need to talk about memory binding, so I'm going to cut all that out, but that's fine. And then ACH amygdala and method. It's going to be everything here, results and discussion. And there we go. But that's going to be the next thing. Okay, now I have to really leave, but back to my family. We're writing my final draft. Okay, we're now writing it. It's going to be done. I'm actually going to genuinely write it because the minute I get those method results, like, I can't be in this hellish stress mode anymore. I want this done. So I'm just going to, like, that's going to be my last piece. And it's going to have to be all done by then. Yep, and that'll keep me from going insane while I wait. Okay, bye.
What I basically want to do tonight is just rearrange my proposal a tiny bit to cut out some of the things I don't care about. At this point, it's less of a proposal and more of an action plan, I hope. Yeah, either way, I don't know how it's going to go with these two people that I've reached out to. If it doesn't work with them, it's good because then I'll fine-tune what I have, and then that way when I send it to people, like new people, it's more like it's just cleaner, and there's less for them to sort of stress about. I was actually thinking about the fact that I did something really insane like this time last year, like a year and a month ago. I wasn't expecting to get accepted, but I was like, let me just put myself out there and see what happens. Sometimes you have to go for things that are outside of your immediate experience level, just to do it from time to time, right? Just to see like what happens and go for something big. So I applied for a PhD program in psychology. Obviously, I did not think that I was going to get accepted, but I did it just to be like, you know what? Just just do anything. And I didn't get accepted. I wasn't expecting to. But what I did do was that I had sent something and I was like, just in case I like happen to get any kind of interview, let me just start getting like let me prepare as if it was gonna turn into something. And because I was preparing for that, I actually read my first paper about hippocampal shortwave ripples. That was the first time I read about one of those. This was like last it's December 2025 now. This was like maybe November. Not even that. Yeah, maybe like November 2024. And so basically because I applied for that, I read about sharp wave ripples and I got really inspired because I started reading about them. I was like, this is kind of what I was looking for and stuff. So it never hurts to go for a step outside of your comfort level or outside your expertise level because you just never know what'll happen, actually. And it's okay to get rejected and stuff. But it was a really important experience for me. So yeah, so that's why I basically got here. But anyway, so now I'm gonna prepare for this meeting. I don't know if the meeting, I mean, hopefully it'll happen. That this one is not as like crazy to think that. I mean, he literally offered a meeting already. It's not like is it gonna happen? It's like just is he gonna respond tomorrow kind of situation or like over the weekend, or is he gonna get busy? But either way, I should be prepared. And I just thought I'd just pare it down, like cut it down a little bit. I'm gonna show you the scripts that I found for amygdalas, and yeah, we'll just try to keep getting it like continuous. I will say one thing about this project. I feel like the reason it's worked out thus far is that I've not stopped. I've kept moving. Like no matter what happens, like I just keep. I don't like take a break from it. I just keep it in flow. Like I'm always doing something towards this. I've been. This has been a movement for me for like literally over a year now, and I've just been like no matter what, I just like oh, I might have a meeting. I'm not just like I'm done. Like I'm adding to it. Or like if I'm gonna have a meeting with someone, I'm not just like I'm gonna wait. I'm like let me like advance it. So I feel like it's just always kind of elevating a little bit, which is cool, which is a good thing. So that's how I feel like I got here at like the pace that I did and stuff. But yeah, so now we're gonna go back to it, and I'm just gonna like fix it up and see what I want to take out and just fine tune it a bit. I had some questions earlier today as well that I was like, but what about that? So we're gonna go back in a sec. Everything in life kind of gives you a gift of some kind or like or teaches you something. I feel like I'm always trying to take the lesson from my situation or take the lesson from life or see the benefit. And I feel like that also helps me because I see everything that I do as part of like my journey, I guess. I feel like whether you're a secular person or not, I think that's the cool part about seeing something as part of a like a spiritual journey or part of a story is that I feel like it helps you to reap the benefits of I don't know, reap the benefits of the situation and always be looking for how it's going to elevate something about your world. And yeah, I just feel like I was like, you know, that's why it's not really like a black or white thing. That's why I'm not really scared of rejection anymore. Like it's not like it used to be like rejection or acceptance or like failure or success. But I feel like I just throw myself in situations now because I'm like, that's never like a thing. I feel like there's always something to gain from every situation that you do. And just because I feel like some of the things that have been my like failures have actually ended up being wins for me, in some way, shape, or form. Like, for example, that where it's like, I felt kind of like embarrassed to try, but it's like, okay, who cares? Like the worst you get out of it is like, oh, maybe some random professor I'm never gonna speak to again thinks like my stuff sucks, or is like, why is she even trying? But like meanwhile, look how much that I've gained from this. Like I gained like a whole new world from that. So it's like it doesn't really hurt to try ever. Anyways, this is what we have right now. I've been waiting a while for these scripts, which is fair because they have no reason to send this to me, like, and they're doing it anyways out of the goodness of their hearts. But I've been kind of stressed because I just want to see them. I think I'm gonna take this all out. The only thing, all of this is getting cut out. Memory binding is gone. From the conclusion I was reading, it's diminished in the hippocampus, but it's actually increased in the amygdala. But the thing is that I need to read whether this happens in acute stress and to what extent. And I don't know, it's like, is that too far outside the scope? It could be. And it doesn't necessarily need to be a part of my situation. But I just thought I'd put that down in case I wanted to add that at the end. But look how much cleaner that is now. It's like just that's it. Acetylcholine, like everything that they have already, and then the amygdala. And all this pattern separation stuff seems like a different thing, but this is just encoding. Like this is just straight up encoding. Like it's not really a different thing. I just need to make sure everything's in here and probably get more information. I want to put this in the neater sections, but the problem is some of these overlap. So like this is like within CA3 allowing separated dentate gyrus. I never remember how to say this. Representation to dominate hippocampus. So it's like together, you know? So I don't know how to like kind of categorize that. But yeah. So this whole thing has actually been like a massive gift. Just doing this project has been like the light of my life. Like I'm literally in love with it. And it fills my world. I wouldn't have done it for 8 months unprompted if I wasn't so passionate about it. And like I just love it a lot. And like it just makes me really, really happy. And I wish I could just do it all day. Unfortunately, I can't, but I wish that I could. But it's so clean now, it's so small. So basically, if I have their model, which let's pray that I will, I need to understand. We're going to do like a to-do list for the project. That's why I'm like, I know I have to go somewhere with this because it seems very cool to make me randomly realize that I might be talented at something interesting and different. But then to have it go nowhere is like, that doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense at all. So this has to go somewhere. I'm not even speaking from a spiritual perspective, but like almost energetic. Like I know we don't necessarily like I know our stories in life don't necessarily follow the laws of physics or something in the same way, but it's almost like kind of like an object in motion stays in motion kind of thing, where it's like it can't just die here. Like it has to do something, I feel. So that's why I'm like, no, I just feel like I should throw myself into it. Max power right now and just like don't stop till it's done. I was just talking to my dad today about like neuroscience and stuff, and I was like, how do I know this? It's like I really didn't know any of this before. Some of the things to do. I need to understand the mechanisms of this study better because this is a kind of cool thing. Is that they kind of it's like the model is basically made so that it's not like it's not forced to do something, it naturally does it, like it naturally spikes and stuff. But I just want to understand that better because I think that'll help me to understand like where does my amygdala fit into this. And they don't have an entorhinal cortex, so it's why don't they? Do I need one? Not really, I guess, part of their situation, but is it part of my situation? Or is that going to be cut to and I just have that and an amygdala? Obviously, I can't just use their stuff word for word, but I just mean that they already have like a kind of system in place and probably it needs to be updated to fit like whatever standard or I don't know. They did theirs in 2015, it's 2025. So I'm sure there's like stuff to update or whatever, but it's like I just mean the mechanisms is kind of like they kind of already got something together and it's like I could just borrow, but I do need an amygdala for sure. You guys want to see my cat? Lizzie, say hi. She just ate, so she's got food on her mouth. Anyways, is that too simple? No, I don't think that is too simple. I think I'm already adding new stuff. I'm already adding acetylcholine and I'm already adding synaptic tagging, and they go together well, and they're like one mechanism all together. And I think that that's good. I'll definitely have to make synaptic tagging myself. That'll be like a new thing. We can look it up, but I really don't think that that exists. Maybe. No, I don't think this is a computational model. I think this is just like literally like maybe. Well, let's see. Actually, there might be, and then that would be pretty cool. I don't want everything to already be done, but at the same time, it's like it's good to have more information, particularly for my supervisors, because I do think my final supervisor, whoever they are, since that's what the direction that I keep going down in terms of where people are like sort of sending me. It seems this actually looks really good to be honest. It seems like they're sending me down that path that it'll probably be with someone who does computational modeling. Oh, they did it. Oh my gosh. In which case it'll be good to show them something like this because then they can see it in their own language, you get me? Wait, that's kind of cool. They already have a model of it. Wait, that's actually kind of insane. So then I already have something to show them too. Oh, this is not going to be as hard as I thought. This is really not going to be as hard as I thought at all. Because I mean, I don't think people will like copy paste, but they can see like, what is it? How does this work, right? Because I was basically saying my thing. I was basically saying in my thing that like, I need to have some kind of abstracted version. But then this person already made it. So I don't have to make anything. Is that like bad? Should I be like super duper innovating? No, right? It's even better if I'm not. Actually, that's what I've been learning along the way. It's like it's better to not. It's good to do new stuff, but it's better to not do it too new. I'm basically downloading these and then I'm gonna show you like I made a folder for this entire meeting that I'm hopefully gonna have. Maybe I won't even need a second person. I don't know. I actually have no idea. Let's see, how does this even work here? Do they have an amygdala? I have to read this whole thing. I've been kind of lazy to read because my brain is just like, I've taken in so much information in the last 8 months, and I'm in the mood to do this, but I'm not in the mood to read at all. And I've just been looking at, like, I have so many other papers I could read. But actually, this really kind of lowers down my kind of work that I need to do because I recognize the name Frey and Morris. I think I read their paper. Basically, that means that I don't have to read stuff about like memory binding. Oh, were they the ones who did their own thing? I did read this exact paper. It's kind of funny because I was at my Christmas party today and I was talking to people and I was asking them like, why are you in the program? Because is in the program for a different reason. Or no, not a different reason. Everybody came from a different sort of path because it's a conversion degree. And it's kind of funny because like I would talk to people and like they were explaining like why they're there. They want to be therapists or this and that. And I was so like my reason is so specific. I was like, I wrote a paper on dissociative disorders. I want to study I want to study dissociative disorders. Like that's it. I don't know. I didn't see it like that until I started explaining it to people. And then somebody was like, oh, so you really like, you have like a really set idea of like what you want to do. I was like, I guess I do. I was just talking to people. I was like, that's kind of insane. Like I already have such a specific thing. And like, I already like wrote my thesis. I already like did like so much research and it's like I've become someone really focused over time. I didn't have this kind of like energy before where it's not even focused on my work, but that too. But just like I have such a clear picture of what I want and like such a clear picture of like what I'm here for. And like when I was applying to programs, I wasn't even thinking like what's interesting. I was thinking like, how do I get here? And how do I get to this niche? And how do I get to the point where I can do this exact thing? I really wanted this specific thing. Also, I feel like a lot of people that I speak to are going down the like working with people route, which makes sense. I really specifically want to do research. Like that's like I don't know, I haven't interacted with a lot of people in my program in particular, I guess, but I haven't interacted with a lot of people. There probably are a lot of people that want to do research. I'm like, I want to do research. And what do I want to do research on? This. Like, I'm so specific. So I was like, I really knew what I wanted to do. It's kind of hard because not only was I coming from like a different sort of background, but also I feel like it's a little bit hard to find. I just had such a niche, like I knew the niche that I needed to fill and that I wanted to fill. And it's a niche that's a bit hard to find because you can find people working with dissociative disorders, but usually it's not trauma that much. Like it's more like yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I just knew what I wanted. Like, I don't know. That's yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's why I was kind of like annoyed because I was like, I don't care. I do care about the rest. I love like generally, I love psychology and I love neuroscience and stuff. But I was like, I need to do this first. I was like, I need to get this off my chest. I need to get this, like, I just need to be here. And I was like, also that made me feel better because I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty unique. And that makes me think that like I have a place, like a niche to fill and I have like a place to go, you know? But I was really annoyed because I feel like so much of your time like pre in like masters and stuff and like in I don't know in this program as well like you spend particularly my program because it's kind of like a supplementary sort of thing for like a bachelor's, you know, we spend a lot of time on generalized information. Like we're literally like we'll do like day every day we're covering a new thing like general, like, you know, we're covering like, I don't know, neurodivergence. Then the next day you're covering attachment. Then the next day you're covering, and I really enjoy it. I love the lectures when I go. When I go, I love it and I love like the information and stuff. But it's hard because I'm like, I know where I want to be and like I know what I want to learn and I know what I want to like get myself into and stuff. And I just want to immerse myself in that. And it's kind of hard. And it actually made me feel better to see, like, I started to see other people's research, and it actually made me feel better to interact with other researchers that were more like in their field and to see, like, oh, they don't know everything. It's not like they're like a jack of all trades where I can just throw a project at them and they know how to handle it. It's like people have their niche that they fill, and like they are really expert at that. They're not experts at like everything under the sun. And I think that a lot of the times, like the reason that you spend a lot of time, I mean, it's good to know general information, but you spend a lot of time in like the early days of school, like just learning a lot of general information because you don't know yet what you like and you don't know what you might be good at. And it's good to get like an overview of what you might want to do, but I was like, sometimes it feels kind of like I know what I want to do so specifically and like I just want to be there. You know, that doesn't mean that I don't want to learn other stuff. I feel like everything inspires me. Like that's why I came from like comparative literature and societies background. Now I'm in computational neuroscience, right? Everything feeds into my like, you know, everything helps and it's good to learn a lot of different things. At the same time, like I've been kind of like I just exactly like I think when I spoke to people, like I think I saw it clearer where it's like, oh, I really like I know what I want to do like really specifically and I am passionate about it. Like I've worked like I said I've worked on it every single day for like 8 months. Like I'm here and like I really want to be here and I never lose interest in it. I'm always more inspired. I always have more research ideas. Like I have so many things that I had to drop off to the side that I'm like, these are research ideas too. The memory binding, like reconsolidation, like all these different things, how it moves into the neocortex. I'm like, I have all these ideas and I'm really passionate about this niche. And it's a good niche. It's like an important niche. And I was like, everybody actually has their niche in research and like it's not a bad thing to be focused like that. And that is how it goes in the future where I'm like, I'm kind of like annoyed at myself because I'm not that interested in like I am interested from like just a curiosity standpoint, but I'm not like particularly interested sometimes in like just general information. Like I'm like I really and that's the thing is that that's the power of a lived experience because most people wouldn't have that attitude 100% because you need to learn and see like what else do you like, right? Where it's like I did have a lived experience that was so intense and so like life changing and all this stuff and that's why I want to be here, you know? Like I really already know that because I got such a strong sense of the purpose of it and like why is it important and like what's the point of doing this work in such a like potent way. And I just got such a sense of like why I need to be here and like you know what I mean? Like what the odds are or like not the odds, the stake is. Like what is the stake of this project? You get me? So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it was like a I did see that like well, I mean somebody mentioned that. They're like, "Oh, you're like that's really specific." Or like you really know what you want to do. And I was like, yeah, I do. I mean, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, oh, that's true. Like I actually do. And I just want to be there. So it's been kind of frustrating because I feel like I'm going at it like in an inverted way where I'm like, once I'm done with this, then I want to learn more general information. I've actually been excited to finish this because I want to learn more about other parts of the brain. I want to learn about other like elements of psychology. We were learning about seizures today, and I was actually very interested. And we didn't get to go into dementia, but I was like, that would be such an interesting thing to learn from like a memory standpoint. But I'm like, first I want to do this because this is like why this is why I got here in the first place. And it's been kind of just kind of like an inverted journey where it's like usually you would be filling a niche like much later on in your career, whereas like I'm starting wanting to fill a niche and then I want to expand, you know? So, anyways, let me download this. Also, you see, like, it's literally 12:27. My family is here. It's my first day of break. Like, literally, this was our last day of the semester. You would think that I'd want to be like, oh, school's done. Like, I'm just gonna piddle around and like hang out and stuff. And it's like, no, I want to work on this. Like, literally, that's what I want to do. Like, I was looking forward to it. Like, I was like, I want to sit and work on my project. And it's literally past midnight. A lot of my videos you'll see me, it's like I've worked all day. All of a sudden it's like midnight, working 1 a.m., like, 11 p.m. And it's like I don't get tired of this. Like I love it. And I just want to do it all the time. Even I'm not getting paid for this. This is just like I just love it. And it's really kind of been annoying because I'm like, um, I just have really wanted that opportunity. And like I've just been looking for an opportunity to get here. And I really hope this is going to be a good opportunity because I've been seeking that opportunity out. Like that's why I was applying to all those programs and just being like, can I do this? And it's like I didn't end up basically figuring it out through like my program, but obviously like I got it to this project and that's why I was like I gotta yeah, I don't know. I feel like it actually energizes me and fills my cup so much to work on this project too. Like it makes me feel full and like if I'll be exhausted and burnt out all day, but the minute well, that's funny because I'll be complaining all the time. Actually, I complain all the time. Well, actually, now that it's here, I feel really energized, and it's like I just feel like it energizes me and it makes me feel good and it makes me feel like purposeful and like just happy and like everything. And I feel like what I'm doing is really important. Like I actually feel like I'm doing really important work right now. That's why sometimes I don't really want to go to class, not because I don't love class, not because I don't feel like the classes are actually amazing, led by amazing people who are like amazing in their field and all this stuff. And like I don't feel like it's worth my time, but just because this is like everything to me and it fills my cup so much. And it's hard because I'm like, this is so purposeful. And sometimes when I sit in class, like I don't feel like that purposeful. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I just don't feel like, I just feel like my time is so well spent here and I feel so useful and I feel so like in my element that it's really hard to like yank away and go to class sometimes, even though I love class. But I think I just have a, like I said, I've said it already, but I just have a strong feeling that like I need to finish this. I read tarot cards and stuff. Like, I really have good gut. So I'm like, I'll trust myself. There's actually quite a bit of computational models on this, which is cool. But I don't think any of them have put it together with everything like this. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Also, like, it's hard because this feels like my career already. So it's almost like I feel like it's hard to pull myself away from my own career to go, like, do other things that don't feel so much like my career, where I'm like, this is my job. And even when I'm doing my real job, sometimes, like my paid job, sometimes I feel like I'm going to do like a fake job, whereas this is my real job. So it's kind of hard because it's like, this is my career though. You know what I mean? It's like, but this is my job. It's like I'm doing my job, but then I have to go do other things. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, but my job is here though. This is the main issue that I'm basically trying to fix with this computational model. The main question, and I think I want to make sure that that really pops out in my paper. I'm going to write it here at the to-do list. Basically, the question is when it comes to recovered memory, or like when it comes to dissociative amnesia, the main point of contention is that like if something was such a potent experience, first of all, why would you forget it? Like why would that happen if it was like kind of really arousing? And then also just the I need to find it again in the papers, but just that sort of overlap between like, okay, how can something be over encoded but forgotten at the same time? you know, where trauma usually gets really over encoded and really like um stuck and really like too much in PTSD, but then like how would that lead to forgetting? Which obviously, not obviously, because not everybody is an acetylcholine expert, but if you were to like basically with acetylcholine, that makes perfect sense because it's just too over arousing to not consolidate. But then when it does consolidate, I really feel like I figured that. I really feel like I actually genuinely solved the question like months ago. So I'm like I'm sitting on a bad boy piece of information right now, and I need it to be off my chest, you know, because it's like I have it. It's like I just gotta publish it. So yeah, I think that's the main question that I just want to make sure that it's very clear that I'm answering this. This is the problem that I'm solving. This is how dissociative amnesia works. That's why the trauma stays like that. And what I might want to talk about in the discussion section as well is the question of like why would this not happen in every case of PTSD where something is arousing? I don't know if I can answer that 100%. At the same time, I will say that I think that the question is whether, because actually ACH has like a medium point. I guess it's just about if it can go down low enough to at least partly be connected to sort of be pattern sort of connected. I actually have a perfect paper for this as well. So if it's really arousing all the time to the degree that it literally won't even go down enough when it comes to this experience, down enough to get to that point where the CA3, like basically when it's connecting to the CA3, it starts to connect to like older patterns, like older schemas and things that you already have and basically connects it to like your wider framework a bit to like sort of like, okay, I kind of know that, you know? If I'm understanding that correctly, which I think I am. But the thing is that if it's too arousing fully to even make it to that point, because if the ACH is up all the way, I think it doesn't connect at all. If it's up a medium amount, it does connect, but like not fully. Like you're not just randomly having memories come up randomly, but you're like, okay, I kind of know that, or like I remember that, I think. Or like it's part of like that wider framework. But if it's all the way up, it's like encoding something completely new. It's like I've never seen this before in my life and I'm locked in on this versus being like, oh yeah, this is familiar but kind of like new still. I don't know if that's a good explanation, if that's like fully accurate, but that's how I understood it and stuff. Okay, so I have a few papers already. I might come back to this one. This one's older. This one's from 2009, and I think my other ones are a bit newer. Like this one's 2024. These are fresh. This one's 2012. These are like really fresh, like 2022, 2024. So I think people might be starting to get more interested in it again, maybe or something. I don't know actually, because there are quite a few. So that's good that there's already that too. So what we have so far, we have these are both like open source codes of the amygdala. So I think they're a bit more on the simplified side, but maybe not a bad thing to show, you know? Then these are basically just full on like papers, but I couldn't find the actual code for them at all. Like they're just like the rules and stuff. I don't know how, this is the thing. I don't know how to get from here to the end where I'm like, oh, someone's actually doing this for me. Obviously, nobody's gonna have like, I don't think that any supervisor will have time to actually make this for me. I was planning on paying somebody who has this kind of skill set because I technically, in theory, have money for my program. But I don't know, like, hopefully my supervisors, whoever they are, might have some good information for me on that. But if I give this all to them, whoever they are, maybe they'll just know. I might have to do some real learning in the next 20 or so days about how computational modeling actually works. Like, obviously, I get it conceptually, but I don't know the rules, like the literal, like these rules. Wait, let me show you. Rules in like this sense. I'm not gonna learn this in 20 days. That I can tell you for absolute fact. But I might be able to understand like I don't know actually. I don't know how much I'll be able to understand and if I even need to. I started this whole thing thinking I was gonna learn how to code and that didn't happen. Um, because I didn't know how this project was gonna go. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just figure this out. Like, that's just not gonna happen. So I still don't know how to. I would be like a fool to think that I could get any. Obviously, I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere near this or even understanding all of this. But if I can just understand enough to understand like how does this connect in and like, stuff like that. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea. And then yeah, so I have these amygdalas. I got a lot of good amygdala ones of condition like fear extinction and stuff, which I think would be really cool because that actually goes really, really well with like what I'm doing. And some of the best papers that I have are essentially kind of like related to this. When it comes to sharp wave ripples, there was a really recent study done on fear extinction and sharp wave ripples in rats, and like as like a really promising thing for PTSD treatment that like if the sharp wave ripples were suppressed, the fear extinction didn't happen essentially. So I want to reference that, and I think I can maybe find some new ones. These are just all the ones I got today on the synaptic tagging. So these are good things to have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's really it though. I think that's really it for the actual computational models that I might need to have kind of like as inspo. So my project is really changing for the better. I just need to get a supervisor now. But it's good. I trust that everything is happening in perfect timing. You get me? Oh wait. I'm trusting that everything's happening in perfect timing. I'm gonna get everything on in the perfect time. I'm gonna get my scripts in the perfect timing, supervisors, perfect timing, everything. Yeah, I trust myself. I felt like such a relief actually. I feel really good. I feel like a really good feeling about this break. I think it's going to be a really, really good break for me right now, and I'm really excited, actually. Like, I think I'm going to get good work done because the minute I left class, I felt so clear-headed. After, actually, because I was having that bad day, after I saw the world like a rat, if that makes sense, like I said earlier, where I left, I was like, oh, I was like, I trust myself. I was like, I felt good. I was like, I felt clear-headed, like really, really clear-headed and like in a good mood. And I just feel like for once in my life, I kind of have everything like kind of set up and like I'm calm. I feel like a deep sense of calm. Like I've never felt this calm. But I think it's gonna be a good break for me. I have a really good feeling about it. And like this is really, really good right now. I'm gonna call it a day here, actually, because it is 12:45. And basically tomorrow I have to go be a tour guide, but I just feel so much better. I feel like if anybody who's interacted with me in the last, honestly, 6 years, in the last like 2 years, specifically 3 years, maybe. I don't know. It's been like, I feel like people come to visit me or like I interact with people and I feel stressed the whole time and just distracted and like all this stuff. And I've gotten better over time, but I feel like I look visibly like stressed and like not at ease or I have in the past. I feel like literally like the last few days, my day, like literally today, my energy shifted so much. But well, also I've been in the midst of like such an intense moment in life where I had to like move to a new country, figure myself out, all this stuff, and I just haven't felt settled and I haven't felt good. And I've just felt like anytime people interact with me, I'm like I'm always in the midst of like this really intense process in life where I'm working on like a lot and like I have a lot in flux. I'm like, do I have enough money? Is everything set up? Like, all this stuff. And it just feels like I almost feel embarrassed. Like I almost feel like I come across really like stressed and like feeling icky and stuff. So if you ran across me in the last few years and I was that energy, it's not even because of this project. Like now it's like now I feel good about it. This project is just an extension of me being like, how am I gonna live with this experience and how do I integrate it? I feel like it's been really this has been a big integration process. And like I'm like, how do I integrate this energy in my life of my PTSD and feeling like kind of broken and feeling kind of off and like where do I take this and what do I do with this and like where do I go with this and all this stuff that's like I was actually there was times I was very, very mentally ill, like really like there was a lot going on in here that I didn't really always communicate that was just so like complex and heavy and like I people would kind of be like I feel like I visibly came off in like this sort of heavy energy and it's like how do I was like I don't know what to do about it. Like it's cuz I need to integrate all these experiences and it's really hard sometimes to talk to people that aren't very trauma informed in general, like even like family members and stuff. Like it's really hard because people like very well meaningly will be like forget about it. Don't think about it. Feel lighter. Go out and have fun and stuff. And it's like you don't understand that like there's a world going on in here that I need to integrate. And it's like it's not just gonna go away from me not thinking about it. Like it's like that's why I was thinking today, I guess I'm blue now, about how like I was like sending that little message back to myself because I was thinking about a time that I was on the bus. This was like 2 years ago, and I was really like, my life has been very intense actually. I was in a very intense place in life, and I was just riding home on the bus, and I was in such an intense headspace, and I was like, how do I fix it? And even well, that's why I'm here now. Like I would tell myself, like, you just need to be patient and you need to let it all kind of like what's the word? Consolidate. I didn't have that word, but I just knew it like in my body. I was like, this needs to all like consolidate essentially. And there's like a lot. It's like there's a lot of story here and there's a lot of information here to just like integrate. And just the experience of trauma is so much to integrate in general and stuff. And I was looking back at myself like you didn't even know you were a neuroscientist. I'm gonna claim it because I think it's gonna happen for me. But it's like obviously like even if I don't do it today, like clearly like I feel like I'm meant to be there in the long run. And it's like you feel this like I had such a strong intuition for my own mind and my own body and I had none of this language. I had none of this neuroscience language and it's like I feel like I look back and I'm like I had so much to integrate and just my life has been so much to integrate, integrating like moving through this moment, moving through my early 20s in this state and I think sometimes I get around people and it's heavy too because I'm like I just feel heavy and I just feel like there's so much here to consolidate about life and also that life is like not passing but like time is passing and I'm here and I'm like having this experience and all this stuff and yeah it's just been like a lot to sort of integrate and I just feel like I'm around people and it's like obviously when I'm on my own I'm I'm moving through with the awareness of this that I'm now writing a paper about in neuroscience terms of like it's going to be a process but you need to sit and you need to relax and you need to let it sit and all this stuff and it's like on top of all of that I also have been like setting my life up as a young adult completely by myself I'm financially like everything I pay for myself and like all this stuff where it's like it's a lot it's like a lot it's been a very intense few years and I just feel sometimes I feel embarrassed when I'm around people and I think I kind of avoid people too because I'm like I feel very stressed and I look stressed and all this stuff where it's like when I'm on my own, I understand myself, but sometimes it's hard to be around people and to feel like, oh, I look really stressed out right now and I just look kind of like off and I feel like I'm kind of killing the vibe or I just feel like it's like, you know what I mean? Where it's like my body also feels very heavy and intense sometimes. Like there's a lot going on just everywhere here and it's just sometimes a lot to be around people and it doesn't mean that like I think exactly like sometimes I'm like I feel frustrated because I'm like I don't want to seem it almost feels like a waste sometimes where like I want to meet people in an energy of like good energy and calm energy and this paper was a massive integration thing for me like I need to integrate this experience and I need to get it off of me and like out into this new format like alchemy it's like alchemizing my experience into like a new form and integrating like even for example like this feeling of having this like expertise over my own voice where like a lot of time I spent a lot of time in this project feeling like I didn't really know like it was like very new to me and I was like who is this person I almost felt like it wasn't me doing this project and I was like who is this person doing this project right now like what is this voice and then sometime like around my birthday I had started the artist way at work, but then I got too immersed in school and everything, so I didn't get to finish it. But I was like doing this activity where you basically had to integrate all these different, like you had to say what all the voices of your system essentially were, which is interesting because it was very aligned with this. But I was like, oh, this voice that feels very like dissociated from me, and like who is this doing this project that's just like out of the blue? It's like this expert voice. It's like I feel like I integrated that there's like this expert in me that like wants to come out, and this expert in my experience, and like this scientist as well, that like even before I was doing science, I was unpacking my mind all the time and observing and just being like, what's happening here, and just having this really observational sort of relationship to myself, you know? And that's just, yeah, I think it was just a lot to integrate about like how much my experience of moving through the world changed having PTSD, and like how different I became, and like my sense of like my interest literally shifted entirely. It was like, oh, I'm gonna be a journalist. It's like now I'm being a computational neuroscientist. Like it's really random, and just random stuff that's like it's been a lot, and it's like it's not even a bad thing all the time, but it's like very heavy to be around people sometimes. And when people would come visit me, I'd want to be like present and have fun, and I just felt like I was coming off weird, and I couldn't really control how stressed out I was in my face, and like how I just felt like I looked weird. Um and it's like I'm just in the midst of such a heavy process in life. Like this whole thing has been such a heavy process, and it's like people are kind of just drifting through it, and I just felt kind of like there's a lot happening. But I feel like now I'm going into this break and I have a really good calm feeling like there's not really much left to set up for my life. Like I have a job, my master's degree program. Am I doing perfectly? No, but like actually the last few days I was like, so be it. This is what I want to do with life, and I'll fit like that's the information that I need from this moment in time. And um yeah, and also just I just feel like I have my life set up right now, so I don't feel that feeling of like everything is crumbling under my feet, which I felt a lot when people would come visit me. Like I had one of my best friends came and visited me in London when I first moved here, like maybe like a year in, and I was like, my life is a mess right now. It's not a mess, but I was like, I have a tiny apartment. I'm worried the whole time. I was worried the whole time about money. I was like in the midst of this intensity of like how I wanted to do this already. So actually midway through like hanging out with her, I was like, oh, I got the inspiration to like finish up my thesis, and I started to like put the theories together and ideas and stuff, and it was just like I don't know, I just feel like I'm happy and just ready to be like in a lighter energy. And it literally like the minute my semester ended, I just was like whew, like okay, I feel this is the calmest that I've felt in like a while, and I just feel good. So anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. This is the start of like I guess like the final draft series. I don't know if it is going to be the final draft. It's definitely going to be like nearing it. It's probably going to be like rough draft number 2 if we're being realistic, like just getting it closer. But I'm gonna call it final draft because I want to be in that energy of like in my final draft document, and kind of making it sound good now because I already have like the layout of the whole paper. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully an advisor comes through. Every time I say in the end of my video that I'm gonna do something next, it doesn't happen. Like if I'm like next time we're gonna start learning about acetylcholine, I'll be like the next video you'll see me start, and I'll be like, so we're talking about memory binding today. So don't ever trust any promise I make at the end of my video. I said in the last one that I'll hopefully be starting this with an advisor, and I am not. So, all right, bye. Excited.